What's going on today, folks? Johnny P here again. Today I just wanted to jump on and talk about just a couple things in relation to building muscle while on carnivore. I know a lot of people think that you need a ton of carbohydrates and all that to stay fueled up for your workouts and all of that stuff. I feel like I've built quite a bit of muscle on carnivore, and I feel like I'm maintaining that muscle pretty well. But to each their own. I completely understand where people say that carbs like kind of fuel you up and do all of that thing, and all of those things, and I do appreciate that. And I mean, I'm sure they're not wrong as far as what works for them and what doesn't work. People probably couldn't imagine having zero carbs and still getting that workout in or that run in. But for me, it kind of boils down to what works for me. And with carbs, I just obviously don't consume any carbs whatsoever, no sugar, none of that stuff. So I am reliant on a big meal the day before and a big meal after, because I only eat once a day. So I do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, and of course strict carnivore. So I have 1.5 to 2.5 pounds of beef, chicken, pork, and then some eggs. And that's essentially what I do. And I feel like I've put up established quite a bit of muscle on my frame. I did before, I used to work out quite a bit before I went on this diet. Actually, not whenever I was super heavy. I was close to 400 pounds. Obviously I wasn't working out then, but before I kind of felt like I had a decent amount of muscle, and I was just had just a regular diet, pretty much your standard American diet. And I would eat 3 times a day. I would have carbs, sugars, proteins, fats, all that, all kind of mixed in. But after wanting to lose that weight, obviously went to carnivore, and I didn't really feel like I slowed down a whole bunch as far as like in the gym. And I feel like I've even ramped it up quite a bit, working out 6 to 7 days, more times 7 days a week. I'm in there for about 30 to 40 minutes, nothing crazy. And then, after that, in the evening, after I get all my things done that I need to get done, usually I'm running, or I kind of flip it and I run in the morning and then work out in the evening. I just find that it works out a little bit better for me that way, as far as, splitting up those 2 different kinds of workouts, as far as cardio versus, weight training. And I feel like with the carnivore diet, as long as I have, really with the carnivore diet coupled with OMAD, because it does, it is kind of like a lot to put on your body, especially if you're not getting the fuel that you need as far as like the meal before or meal after. So that's why I think I eat so much. I'm not sure what other carnivores are eating as far as like the actual quantity of food, but I eat quite a bit. And that's just something that like something that definitely works for me, because I feel like I need that fuel, to first of all stay satiated throughout the day, and then on top of that, burning a bunch in the gym and running. I mean, I'm usually running 5K to 6 5 a 5K or a 10K, a 10K once a week, at least a 5 day, or a 5K every day, which a 5K is about 3 miles, 3 and some change, and a 10K is about 6 miles. And then I'll throw in like a longer run, like double-digit miles, at least once a month. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And I, working out, lifting heavy every day. Again, it's a different muscle group every day, because I'm working out so frequently. I have the ability to work out one single muscle group every day of the week, and without creating too much stress on it, or getting too sore in the gym or anything like that. But I think the biggest takeaway is you need to make sure that, first of all, if you're gonna take supplements, take supplements. I take creatine, even though I'm getting a ton of beef, and there's a ton of creatine in beef. But you got to eat quite a bit of that to get what you need, or to get the most beneficial results on that. So that's what I do. But you want to make sure that you are eating enough to not only get yourself through the day, but also if you're going to train, and you're going to train hard or heavy, you want to make sure that you're keeping that in the back of your mind. Maybe if you are starting to work out, maybe not switch directly to OMAD, just until you see how you feel on it. As far as getting that fuel, maybe just do like an eating window, 8-hour, 6-hour eating window, so you can get a couple meals in there. I think that would work. And kind of, again, it's all about playing with, what works, like whether or not you need to split up the meal, or have one big meal, or split it up into three different meals, to make sure that you are feeling satiated, you're feeling like you have enough in the tank to keep going, to get you through your day and through your workouts. But yeah, I think it's all about prioritizing what you want to do, and how you want to look. And if you want to feel healthy, does working out make you feel healthy? Is it just like dropping a weight that's going to make you feel better? Anything like that. Me, I had a certain ideal version of how I wanted to feel and how I wanted to look. And working out, and well, first of all, losing the weight was the big one. Working out to maintain muscle and gain muscle, and just to feel healthy. So I mean, I feel like working out, running, and staying on the diet, or staying on this lifestyle change, is what really helped me out. And I feel like I've made some really good strides as far as maintaining the muscle that I had that was underneath all that layer of fat, and then also building muscle on top of that. And I just did it with being very strict on my diet, being very strict on my workout routine. And again, that's something that you guys just have to play with. If that's what you want to do, and you want to maintain muscle, gain muscle, yeah, just get you a game plan and tweak it as you go. There's not one thing that works for everybody. So yeah, just keep tweaking it until you find it. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them down in the comments. If not, I will see you guys in the next video.